I can see the stars align, dance around the moon every night. And now my eyes are open wide, and the sky has never looked so bright. And I don't need to see the road to believe, yeah. 'Cause this is where I'm meant to be, I believe. And I feel the magic everywhere. It's all around us, it's in the air. And I see the magic we can share. So much wonder everywhere. And I feel the magic, ooh. Can you imagine, ooh. And I feel the magic, ooh. Can you imagine, ooh. And I feel the magic. It's all around us. And I feel the magic. It's all around us. There's wonder on this winding road in front of me, yeah. 'Cause I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And I feel the magic everywhere. It's all around us, it's in the air. And I see the magic we can share. So much wonder everywhere. And I feel the magic, ooh. Can you imagine, ooh. And I feel the magic, ooh. Can you imagine, ooh. And I feel the magic. It's all around us. And I feel the
Oh, that was lucky. Nearly got caught. Shifting things around. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Soul and Beyond. To everyone is here nice and early, Mandy, probably because of the time mix-up. My sincere apologies, everyone. Hi, Twinkle33. To everyone that will be watching the replay, hello to you, and let's see what kind of energy you pick up from this evening's lovely time with the angelic realm and maybe some other visitors. We're always open to other visitors as well, and who knows what might come through for you today. So for everyone that is new to Soul and Beyond, I'm Gwenda, your host. Heaven's messenger, healer, holistic intervention practitioner, clairvoyant, mystic, a few of those caps, a few of those hats I proudly wear, but most importantly, healer and spiritual mentor, taking people on their path of spiritual enlightenment, spiritual alignment, and helping them heal. One of the greatest challenges that people have in this lifetime is to find peace and heal. Good evening, Linda Gold. Big smiles around. Yeah, I love this song too. Thanks, Twinkle. I think it's awesome. Now, news of the moment. Last week, you were offered to ask a question, which is very unusual. This week we're going to be, we're going to be speaking, well, Archangel Metatron, Archangel Uriel are present. So we'll look forward to seeing the insights and the guidance that they bring through for us to see what happens. For everyone around the place. Now, I've been, good evening, Jean. How are you this week? This lovely Monday. I've had some really interesting conversations since I sat with you all last week. And one of those conversations was around this business of the fifth dimension, higher consciousness, moving to the fifth dimension. Those of you who have sat with me for, regular people, beautiful audience that are with me regularly, what I say about this stuff. So here's the thing. When you want to shift your consciousness, when you want to be in a deeper awareness, you can do that in any moment. You can do that right now. Can you go, good evening, Karen, can you go from zero to higher consciousness? No, you can't. Shall I rephrase that? Sure you can. Sure you can. But will you cope with it? Will your physical body cope with it? Will you be able to function in your everyday life with it? No. Why is that? Because this physical body that you have and that you've been living in for however many years is used to you being in a particular level of vibration, of frequency. And to change all that means that you would need to be able to be your own magnificent, miraculous healer, which you can most certainly do, which is always my greatest joy, to guide people on how to be that personal, miraculous healer. What happens to the cells of the body when you want to shift dimensions, when you want to shift into the fifth consciousness? Well, for a start, what happens with all the toxins that have been accumulated? What happens with all those nasty radicals that running around? The plaque, the build-up. It doesn't just disappear when you are learning to move through these different fields of consciousness. So I hear, hello, Miss Ruby Jewel and Samantha, welcome. I hear a lot of people saying, well, I've been really sick lately and I've had all this stuff going on and it's just the body purging because I'm shifting consciousness. Well, here's a news flash for you. You don't get sick because you are shifting consciousness. When the body is able, has the ability to be carrying a higher frequency, everything moves very smoothly. What you can find when you are shifting your level of consciousness is that you can get very tired and you tire out easily. And that is as the body is going through transition because the level of voltage traveling through you is different. The other thing that people have drawn my attention to since being with you last week is this amazing shift of energy, this great purge of energy in the world. Okay, so let's have a look at this one, shall we? If we all get together, those of you who are with me now, I'm talking about, and we draw our energy together and we set an intention with that energy to do healing for someone or say a country where there has been a big mudslide or something, we generate energy specifically to that person or to that area, and we can raise the vibration through doing that, through us coming together. But this big statement of the world, the change in the energy of the world, it's a fallacy. And you know, those of you who know me well know that I just don't buy into these grandiose Hollywood style conversations from supposed healers, clairvoyants, etc. Do you really think that somebody sitting in the back of Sumatra, the back of Ethiopia, out in the desert of Australia, has got any idea of this great clearing of consciousness, great clearing of energy that's going on in the world? What would they be concerned about? Or what would be taking up their thoughts, do you think? Survival would be one thing. Keeping up with their children, trying to feed them, would be another thing. Even in villages in India. Now, India is where we are taught yoga came from, and a lot of spiritual teachings, gurus and so forth come from India, with a lot of history, another interesting word. To this day in India, there is still the caste system where there is the incredibly rich and the incredibly poor. So when people make statements like this energy purge that's going on from around the world and the consciousness that's shifting in the world, I have to wonder what world they're talking about. Do you all see what I mean? So bringing it back to the effect that we can have through our intentional consciousness, we can definitely affect the tapestry of humanity. Can we shift that tapestry for the entire world and the entire race of humans? Well, you tell me, what do you think? I'll wait for your comments before I say some more on that. The other thing that I've had some really cool conversations about is grief. And, you know, one of the things they say that a parent should never have to do is bury their child. According to the, I don't know who made the law, but parents are supposed to die before their children. Thanks, Twinkle, thanks. Appreciate it. What's everyone else think about that? So parents are meant to pass before children. When you have a situation that there is a parting between parents, so a marital or relationship breakup, and there's children involved, they are the innocent parties, right? Parents have human things going on. The humanness, because after all, that's what this world is about, a human experience. And in that is a lot, right? It's a Pandora's box of goodies. Some people say to me, it's a little bit like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. So when there is a separation, a divorce, and then there is a wrangle over a child or children. Most often, not always, but most often, it is the mother who carries grief. And she will carry grief in a way that she blames herself. There will be resentment, there will be anger, frustration, sorrow, guilt. For behavioral issues, relationship issues that the child goes through. Without knowing it, you can carry a tremendous amount of shame and guilt through grief, through an experience in your life that has brought grief to you. And grief has got to be the most consuming emotional experience in this lifetime or in this human life. Yeah, Mandy. The thing is that when we carry grief, we often don't recognize it. We don't recognize that all the things that we're experiencing, all the feelings we're having, are in fact grief. And what brought me to that was a comment from a young mum who is having a lot of difficulty over her son in the way that the father has behaved. Now, for any fathers watching, this is not a, finger pointing thing, supporting women and so forth. I'm sharing a real life story here, and it can be felt by both parties. Okay, just want to make that clear. So this young woman is beside herself. And in helping her, I've been able to bring her to the understanding of the grief that she's carrying. And she said, it's so bizarre because it feels like I'm grieving someone who's not dead. And I thought, that's a really interesting comment. You don't have to have someone die to experience grief. When children form really close bonds and relationships with another child at school, and then they are moved schools because the family are moving, the children go through grief. When you are a teenager and you are mocked or you're bullied or you're abused in some way, it brings on grief. And then as an adult, perhaps you lose the job that was your dream job. You will go through grief. Yes, Jean. Grief is present in our life all the time. Now, the really important thing for you tonight is to find out whether you are carrying grief in your body, in your mind. Because grief is all-consuming. So even if we go to an example of someone who knows that a loved one, including very best friends, you may know that their time in this world is coming to an end, and you will begin grieving before they have actually gone. Why is this topic so important? Because we started with this carry-on about moving to the fifth dimension, the fifth consciousness, and shifting consciousness. Now, if you are carrying grief, there's no way you can move up to a higher level of consciousness without healing that grief. And because grief is all-consuming, you will find that you have incredible difficulties and challenges physically, mentally, financially, relationship-wise. It will strike you in every area of your life. Oh, good evening, Jackie. Hi, Kim Jane. And welcome. You know, my greatest joy is to help you know your soul, know who you really are. And in doing that, healing is necessary. We can't move anything or shift in our consciousness until we have been able to make peace and heal all situations in our life that have caused us grief. The pain of grief is often insurmountable. The emotions that get trapped in your energy field, in your physical body, in your mental capacity are huge. Some people don't realize that the reason they're having so much trouble mentally is because they are grieving. Some people go into autopilot and people think, wow, they're amazing. Look how they're coping. And when they come to a grinding halt, because they will, they think they've been running on adrenaline. More often, it's running on cortisol, which is a very damaging hormone. It's a very necessary hormone. Tiger chasing you, you're in danger, you need your cortisol and, your adrenaline. But when we are holding grief and all of those emotions that go with grief in our physical self, in our emotional body, now the body is taxed tremendously through the hormone of cortisol and adrenaline. Free radicals run amok in the body, causing inflammation. Did you know you can actually get inflammation in your brain? And if there's one sure time to get inflammation in your brain, it is in grief, times of grief. Why is this relevant to soul and beyond? Well, when grief consumes you, you can't hear the guidance of your soul or your beautiful team from the angelic realms, your spirit team. You can't hear them. So life looks pretty bleak, very dark, very lonely, and lost. And the heart aches. I am one of the authors in a book that is soon to be published, and it is the gifts of wisdom of the elders. It's a delight to be one of the authors in that book. And my chapter is about how to connect with the wisdom of your heart. And I actually write about an experience I had as a nurse with an elderly couple where the lady died of a broken heart. That is grief at its most extreme. So being able to know where you're at in yourself when it comes to grief and really looking at situations, circumstances that have come into your life that have caused you to hold grief. This is a really important part of healing. And for you to be able to shift in your consciousness, for you to be able to align with your soul so that you have a wellspring of strength and being able to feel supported, to get that support from the spirit team, from the angelic realm, from the divine. It's vital that you know yourself and that you are honest with yourself. Another conversation that I had with a beautiful lady last week, I only met her recently, but I was speaking with her last week, and she was excited because of an event that she'd been to, and she felt that the event had unraveled what her purpose is. But when we got talking about things, it unraveled that theory. And she found, oh, no, that's not my purpose. And I gave her one of my most simple healing practices, which most of you who are here have experienced it. And it's where I ask you to look at yourself at a time in your life as a child that really stands out to you, that stands out as a time of catalyst, of pain, of difficulty. Because that will always, that time of your life will always be the starting point of grief. And it will be the starting point of when you formed layer upon layer of protective energy upon yourself. And this beautiful lady is 60, and she's thinking that by 60, she should be able to sort things out. Well, some people get to 80 and they haven't sorted anything out. They haven't gone there or even attempted to go there. And that's another thing that for me, I just don't get it. And you're all very welcome to share your thoughts. I cannot get my head around why people don't want to do that inner work to be led by their soul, to be able to have that incredible connection, and also the connection between yourself and the divine. I trip out on that one. I'm like, I don't understand it. And when people don't want to do the work, the inner work to heal so that they can be free of burdens and pain and dis-ease and illness, I'm like, I just don't get it. So if anyone's got any comments on that, you're more than welcome to share them. I'm just going to read your comments here. Do you, Kim Jane? You all have things like chronic chest congestion. That is chronic grief. And running on adrenaline is not good for the body, very cell destroying. There you go. Mandy's saying here, had a lot of inflammation in the brain, definitely wasn't listening, and now see a lot of grief from back then. Yeah. It is such a huge, huge thing. And what has Karen got to say here? It sure is that done cortisol. Experienced grief, being lost in confusion with the father of one of my children who was an abuser, accused of this man passing with a broken heart. Oh, yeah. Some interesting journeys that we take ourselves on in this life, isn't it? You know, there is an old saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. What I'd like to add to that is, when do we wake up to ourselves and go, enough is enough? When do we wake up to ourselves and go, I am the master of my life and I'm going to run it the way I want to. I'm going to find out more about myself. I'm going to see who I am and what the deal is. Before I forget, I do have the Serenity Retreat coming up, November 3rd to 7th, and I have 2 places left. The Serenity Retreat is going to be life-lasting transformational. It is going to be a very powerful few days. And as Mandy has said once before, she's been to 2 or 3 of my retreats and finds them incredible. And then the School of Wisdom, Enlightenment, and Self-Healing has 3 levels to it. So you would have heard me talk previously about the Soul Seekers Sanctuary. That is now named the School of Wesh, the Spiritual School of Wesh. There's the link for you to have a look at it. So sometimes things take time to fall into their rightful place. And given that I am all about being able to live your life harmoniously through the enlightened part of yourself and being aligned to that, then to have the Spiritual School of Wisdom, Enlightenment, Self-Healing, well, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? In that space, Karen's actually joined us a couple of times for the initial masterminds, but you have opportunity to sit with me every month and learn. And this last week, Mandy and Karen were with us, along with the other ladies. Oh, and sorry, Jackie as well, for self-acceptance. Now, self-acceptance is another component of healing. And you might be surprised to find that when you're carrying grief, which causes a lot of problems, as we've mentioned, self-acceptance can be your key to healing that grief. Because when we look at the things that we carry in grief, like guilt and blame and shame, guilt and blame are so very soul destroying, and always pointing fingers at ourselves about what we didn't do enough of as a parent, perhaps what we didn't do enough of as child of a parent. Perhaps we should have spent more time. Perhaps we should have listened more. Perhaps we should have talked more. Well, you know what? It's too late. It's too late to even put yourself through that agony. But what you can do is talk to them, is connect with them in spirit. There's no point dragging the past along and pointing all fingers at yourself about what you didn't do, what you could have done better, who you let down, who you didn't. Why waste time? Why waste your life with that kind of thinking? Why not recognize it and make a choice to do something about it? Preferably heal yourself first. And then you find everything else follows. Everything else changes. What's Twinkle saying for us here? Appreciate your explaining things as you did. I just gained a bigger picture of how I've coped in life and how it's possibly affected my health. Brain has been hindered by many troubling situations. Yeah, absolutely. Coping in life, we always find a way to cope. But that's all we've done. Cope. When we are coping, we're not present. When we are coping, we are on automatic pilot. We have a lot of hormones being released, including insulin, cortisol, adrenaline, not enough melatonin. The body's not able to convert nutrients into the needed calciums and different things, vitamin C and so forth, and not able also to be able to metabolize vitamin D from the sun, not from a tablet. So that's wonderful, Karen. Thank you for sharing that. So in case you all didn't know, you have the invitation to join us for the masterclasses each month in the Spiritual School of Wisdom, Enlightenment, Self-Healing, which is WESH. You can join those masterclasses for $27. And this is what Karen has to say about joining them. So we have a different topic every month, each one of them with the objective of helping you heal, helping you see new things in your life, new things about yourself. So coping, it's a great word. Thank you, Twinkle33. When we are coping, there is a lot of constriction that goes on in the vessels, in the blood vessels of the body. And then there's a lot of expansion. So the body goes into dilation and constriction over and over again. And we get free radicals running around, which causes a lot of oxidization and a lot of damage to the cells. We're coping. And through that, we end up with a lot of inflammation. And what might be diagnosed as celiacs, what might be diagnosed as lactose intolerance, what might be diagnosed as irritable bowel. What's the other favourites? Anxiety, migraines come in there, inflammation, ulcers, stomach ulcers, you name it, anything. All sorts of inflammatory conditions in the body will come up. Arthritis is an inflammatory condition. And these things will come up when we have had too long of coping, trying to make it from day to day. There are such simple practices. It's Mandy saying, working in the School of Wesh with Gwenda genuinely changed my life in so many amazing ways. Forever grateful. And that's it, to myself for having the courage to do the work. Go, Mandy. Absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure to have Mandy, to walk beside her and watch her grow and change. And she's had amazing shifts. And she's also had, through the years, amazing questions. One that I will remember till the day I leave this world, Mandy, as we were walking through the bush down there at around the Harvey area. I won't say it tonight, though. Yes, Jackie, diverticulitis, that's another one. So when we're coping to get through a day without realizing what is actually going on in our physical body and our emotional body. And then eventually something breaks. Eventually something falls apart. So one thing that I would like to gift to you tonight is that very simple way of being able to begin your path of healing. And it is to really look at your life and choose one time that really stands out to you as a time where you go, oh, that was so hard. That was a really difficult time for me, and focus only on that time. And what you want to do is invite that version of yourself to present to you. So as you're sitting talking, I'm talking with you, you're sharing with me tonight. So you would imagine yourself looking at that version of you, because you're no longer that version of you. You are different. And this is another part of what grief does. It holds you in a time warp. And you find your mind going back over that time. But you're not that person anymore. You are the aftermath of that. Now, the question you would ask is, what did you need? What did you need? So you're asking your former self. You're finding one time of your life. Don't pile it up as if you're at a smorgasbord. That's why we get all the inflammation. That's why we don't have a peaceful mind, because there's a smorgasbord going on of everything you can think of, like putting it in the washing machine all together. And that brings overwhelm, it brings inflammation, it brings dis-ease and illness. So we find one part of your life that stands out, and you invite that version of you to come forward, and you ask her or him, what did you need? Now, don't let your mind make up stories, because what your former self needed will be simple, single words like to be heard, to be listened to feel loved, to feel nurtured, to be comforted, to be wanted. That's all. If you go off on a tirade of, lots of words and blah, blahing, you're in your mind. Not out of your mind, you're in your mind. So you set yourself up in a quiet space and you choose that one time of your life that stands out, and you invite that version of yourself and ask, what did you need? And even as a child, I took a lady on a very deep healing meditation many years ago now. It was 25 years ago. And I go with you when I take you into these healing meditations so I can see what's going on. And we brought forward her little self of only 4 years of age. And as soon as the lady in present age and time saw her little self, she folded her arms and turned her back on her. I nearly cried myself. And the little one, I was guiding for the little one to come up to the present day version of this lady. And she came up to her and put her hand out towards her as a child would. And the present day lady shook her head. So I brought her out of the meditation. I asked her what she saw. And she said, I saw that child and I don't want anything to do with her. She's broken. I had to take some very deep breaths. I could feel her heart. I could feel my own heart. And the way that she said, I don't want anything to do with her. She's broken. It was so hard. Anyway, she come back for her next. She was doing a series of healing mentorship with me. And she came back for her next session. I said, we're going there again. We are going to talk to your little self. And immediately she put her walls up and she said, all right, well, whatever. So we went again, and this time the little one came up and put both arms out and wanted to come right up. Now, this time the lady didn't turn her back on her. She stayed, but she had her arms crossed. And she just looked at her. On the third time, she let the little one come up and give her a hug, and then she cried. That was a profound, wonderful healing. And she was so different. The lady was so different after that. You have a choice in any moment to speak with your former self and to ask, what did you need? And then your next step is to affirm to your former self that we made it. We made it to here, and I am here now to listen, to hold you, to support you. Because what we most often do is we ignore that part of ourselves, like that lady said, broken. We see that part of ourselves as being not good enough, not enough, not worthwhile, because that's the perception of what we took in from the experience we were having at the time. So that is one thing that you can try and you can do every day. But remember, one thing, one time, and simple words. If you've got a whole lot of convoluted conversation going on, then you've gone into the mind and it won't work. If you allow your former self to speak, it will be from the heart. And it will be the things that the soul and the heart need. So be brave. Take that step and begin your healing journey. And it is a journey. Don't think for a minute that you do that and then everything is gone away, because it's not. Because you are a complex being, and the way of this construct in this consciousness, it's deliberately designed to pull you down, dumb you down, and keep you from accessing your wisdom, your heart, your soul. So you have many layers, and within those layers, there are many levels. So there can be one time of your life and you can go and meet that former self, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have been ready to release everything that went with that time of your life. So you may find after you're like, hey, Gwenda, stuff came up after. Yeah, because you weren't ready to release it. And this takes me back to what we began with. If we want to shift our level of consciousness and be in what's called a fifth dimension, apparently people are talking about the ninth dimension now. It's like, for goodness sake, why don't you just get on with living your life here and learn to master this life, then go skipping off out into the galactic dimensions. So being able to master your own, be your own healer and master that, like Mandy said, the courage to do the work and to recognize that there's more than one little thing to be looked at. So when you're ready to really release everything, then great healing and permanent transformation takes place. That's why we can do some miraculous healing where you can completely have, say, a cancerous growth or a cancer in the body, even MS. You can see that completely gone from the body. But if you've followed any people or you've read any books of people that have walked again after being told they never would, they didn't just go, I'm going to walk again, I'm going to be all good, and they get up out of the bed and walk. No, they don't. Because of the reason I was talking about earlier with shifting your consciousness, this body has been used to operating at a certain frequency, a certain level. And we can't just make it go like a rocket unless you have mastered being your own healer and mastered your mind. Then you can. So anyone that has worked through a near-death experience, a really big mental tragedy, trauma, physical trauma, there is a healing process. That process can be hurried, or not hurried, it's not the right word, I apologize. It can be accelerated, it's the same thing, huh? Through the way that we're willing to release what caused it in the first place. Let's see what you're having to say here. Vascular condition, brain related. Okay. I'm going to ask for a little bit of a look-see. So in the brain are all the neural pathways. It is your main hub, your only hub for supposedly where all thoughts go through and messages from the brain to the body, neural pathways and all of that mechanics of working you. If there has been enough trauma that has knocked you out of being able to access your thoughts in a way that is helpful, or access your thoughts in a way that can help you know that you can think for yourself, then the neural pathways become damaged and there gets inflammation in the brain. Cognitive skills and even motor skills can be impaired through immense mental trauma, mental injury. So if you have a look at what was going on in your life, Twinkle 33, at that time, actually, I want to go back 5 years before this was actually diagnosed as a vascular condition. So go back 5 years from when it was diagnosed and look at what was going on in your life. But what I see here, we're looking at you between 18 and 23, and then 23 through to 32, 23 to 32. And there's a lot of lost neural pathways with you. There's a lot of mental interference with you in those years. And being able to feel safe in your own mind was not something that you were able to do. And this is what's created this vascular condition for you. So using that practice that I was talking about is something that's going to be tremendously healing for you. And being able to make peace with yourself. Make peace with yourself. And now the word forgiveness comes in. We mentioned self-acceptance before. Forgiveness comes in. Being able to forgive yourself for anything that was less than love that you felt about yourself, and even forgiving yourself. And this goes for everybody. When you go through a period of life that you believe what other people are saying about you, when other people aren't being kind and you believe them, you start to judge yourself on what others are saying, then those are times for you to be very kind, very forgiving and sympathetic to yourself. A lot of empathy to yourself. I hope that's helpful, Twinkle 33, to feel loved and nurtured. Well, Kim Jane, we've been down that path. Your father can hear you anytime. You can call him in and talk to him to feel listened to. Jackie, Healing Hearts. JCT, hello. I'm sorry I didn't see you come in. Healing Hearts, yours is broken. I hope that the conversations we've been having has been helpful for you, JCT. Everybody goes through their grieving path in their own way. No two people grieve the same. And length of time, there is no time on grief. What there is is learning about it as I've been talking about it tonight, and making a conscious decision and commitment to really look into what that grief is about. Is it about guilt? Is it about shame? Is it about resentment? What is the guilt that you carry in the grief when you've lost someone? And that's what will change things for everybody. Yeah, sheer determination not to give up on yourself. That's absolutely spot on, Twinkle. I'll put that up for Twinkle 33 to see, and Kim Jane. And you're very welcome, Twinkle 33, very welcome. You know, for all of you here tonight, the greatest message, and this is from Archangel Gabriel, and Uriel is very present. And it is that for all of you, this is a time right now to begin shifting how you think. Begin shifting the things that you believe hold you back. And make a concerted effort to go on your healing journey. And it is a journey because, as we said earlier, nothing happens immediately unless you have mastered being your own guru of healing, unless you have mastered being able to hear the guidance of your soul. And you begin that by sitting for 5 minutes in stillness. That's all. And not expecting anything. You're not going to expect bells and whistles and angels trumpeting and fairies appearing or dragons. No expectations. Simply get used to sitting by yourself in silence. And like Mandy loves being out in nature. So, and so does Jackie. So being out in nature is a very healing place for a lot of people. Others like to listen to music, but I'm going to say to you that listening to music is a distraction. So being able to perhaps sit and draw, and you never know what you might draw, you never know what you might write. These are simple things. And please, when I say draw, use pen and paper, not a screen. Don't draw on a screen or use some kind of technology to draw. That is not the way that you will connect with your higher self, with the beauty of who you are. Going bush tomorrow. That's awesome, Jackie. And much love to your mum, and hope she thoroughly enjoys it. Thoroughly enjoys it. And yes, Twinkle, that is exactly right. There's no time like the present, because there is no other time. There is no other time. Yesterday's gone, an hour ago's gone, tomorrow's not even here. Yes, Jean, gardening will most definitely work. The one thing that you are looking for is to quieten the mind. So something that you can just be very quiet doing, getting lost in it, that will work. Gardening is working with nature. Gardening also brings out the beautiful elemental kingdom, so they will come out to assist you as well. So I hope that that has been somewhat enlightening for everyone this evening. And do remember that if you want to join us for some really deep work and join us for the the masterminds each month, and lots of other things. There are many teachings, there are meditations, there are ebooks, there's all sorts of things in the spiritual school of wisdom, enlightenment, self-healing. Then you can join us there, or you can join us once a month for the mastermind. You have only but to email us at support@H.E.A.L with Gwenda to say that you would like to join us for a mastermind. Put that here for you. And that is $27 each month, any month that you want to join the mastermind. Good night, Jackie. Have a wonderful time out bush. And to everyone that has joined us this evening, God bless. Keep well and enjoy your healing, enjoy the releases and the transformation. And remember too, I have only 2 spots left at the upcoming Serenity Retreat in Busselton in Western Australia. So if you'd like to know more about that, you can email us on that too. Thanks, everyone. Lots of love to you, Twinkle33. And I did forget, I'm sorry. When you go to register for the next show, you'll find it's not going to be until August. I'm taking a few weeks break, much needed break and preparation. So just go to register and you'll see the appropriate date, and I'll see you then. Alrighty. Good night, everyone. Take good care.